everybody. Welcome back to Living the Next Chapter. My name is Dave. Happy to have you back again. Another great interview today with a gentleman named Michel. He has a website and a business. His business and website is coachchrisconsulting.com. And Chris has got a new book coming out soon after recording this podcast. And the name of his book is The Red Chair Experience. Interesting story behind the red chair, which we're going to jump into here in the podcast. And we even get a little sneak peek. And Chris shares one of the passages from the book with you as well. This is a book that's not meant to be read once and put it back on the shelf. This is a book that's meant to be used over and over and over again. So it's unique in that sense. Chris shares some great tips for a new author as well on the writing process and gives you some inspirational ideas about how to be diligent and push through some of those ups and downs in the writing process. So whether you're an author or an avid reader, someone who loves a great new book, perfect podcast for you today. Living the Next Chapter. We have Michel, couchchrisconsulting.com, and he's going to be talking today about his book, which is coming out soon, The Red Chair Experience, a book you're going to want to have in your life and refer to every day. Here we go, guys. Thanks for joining us here on Living the Next Chapter. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Living the Next Chapter. I am here with a Clubhouse friend and ally, somebody that I have met recently and enjoy going into a Clubhouse room with because he brings great knowledge and expertise. He is a new author, which we are excited to share the journey of writing a book, and he has a book to share with you that's coming out very, very soon, which we're really excited about. So, CoachChrisConsulting.com, we have Coach Chris here himself, Michel, joining us on Living the Next Chapter. I can tell you're excited because you're smiling.
Well, I generally do that.
You're good? Okay.
I'm good. No, I'm good. And thank you, Dave, for having me. It's good to be here. I'm super excited. Obviously, it's my first book, and the opportunity to talk about it. It's always fun. So.
It's great. So the book is called The Red Chair Experience. I want to get right into it because you are a busy man, and I want to make sure you can get back to being an author and everything. You have a business. You have a lot of things going on. So
thank you, Dave. But I'm just a regular guy who wrote a book. But thank you.
I want to talk about this book because I'm excited about it. And I want people to understand and to meet you and learn about the book and come and support you. Because I think as a new author, it's great to build that community. And if we can be one little tiny step in that,
absolutely. I appreciate
want to do that to help you out. So tell me about the initial thought behind writing a book and for the people listening for the first time meeting you today, a big idea behind the book and why this book is important.
So I think let me back up just to give you an idea. So I'm in my mid-50s, and years ago, I've always been thinking about writing a book. It just was something that had been put on my heart, and I didn't know what I wanted it to be. And so we hit the pandemic in March of 2020, and a buddy of mine in May of 20 had sent me a meme. And it just was very simple. And it said, if you're not improving yourself, working on your side hustle, doing something to get better during this pandemic, then you're wasting your time. And so that, along with a couple other things, happened that really kind of pushed me over the edge, if you will, to write a book. And I'd been reading these daily inspirational books, and I thought, this is what it is. It doesn't have to be a tell-all. I don't have this fascinating life, and I've lived this wonderful, star-studded dream kind of life. But I thought, I do have experience, and I do have things that I enjoy sharing with other people. And that's why I coach. That's why I get to do that now. I coach people with sales and that kind of stuff. But that's really what the driving force of it was. And so that, and then I guess we'll talk a little bit about the title itself and where's the red chair come from. Well, the red chair is actually it's a red leather recliner that I own. And it had two previous owners. One was my stepfather, who was a mentor, a business mentor to me. And he passed away in the spring of 2016. And so then the chair was held with my mom when she moved from her previous location to her current location. She just held it in storage for a bit. And then my younger brother needed a chair like that because he had a brown leather recliner that was falling apart and doing all this. So we took it over to him in the fall of 2018. And unfortunately, we lost him in the fall of 2019. And so because my sister-in-law, nephew, and niece didn't really want that reminder of him around the house, they asked if I would take it. And I said, absolutely. And so it sits in my ensuite. And that's where I would go every morning to sit, and I still do. It's where I go and sit and reflect and read and meditate and pray. And that's kind of where I have it's my morning spot, right? Some people have a beach that they can go to. Some people have a mountaintop that they can go to. Some people enjoy being on the trail or riding a bike. But that's my place. For me, it's sitting in that chair and propping the legs up and, that whole 9 yards. That's a good place for me to just go and kind of get comfy and just get into that important headspace, right? Get my own time, so to speak.
It's interesting. And it's like your mind knows that when you go to that location, that this is a special time, right? A focused time.
Absolutely.
And some of the other noise gets canceled out. And, oh, you're going to the red chair now. So we're going to focus now on this experience, right? And
yeah,
it's like your mind's anticipating that time now.
Exactly. Yeah. It's in a position in the room that I can't watch the television. I can barely see outside. I mean, I can see out of the side of my, my side vision, there's windows over here, but I can't per se just turn and look outside. I could if I turned the chair, but it's not designed for that, right? That space is designed to be focused, to be meditative, to be, looking at the things that I need to look at and want to look at and want to dwell on. If I want to go and I can sit outside and listen to the birds and that kind of stuff on my back porch if I want, but that's not my space, so to speak. So
sitting in that chair in those times of quietness and focused thought, what are some of the things that come to you in those times?
So, in the early stages of sitting down and actually just writing the book, it was interesting because it was super exciting, right? I'm writing this and I have these things to share. And, it was interesting because, I wrote this book intentionally for a year, every day for a year, right? That people would have something to read every day for a year. So I have the mindset that I need at least 366, if not 400 entries, right? I need something more than 366 because we got the leap year and all that other stuff. And then just in case I don't like some of these, I want to come up with some other ones, right? And so, I remember in the beginning just thinking, man, this is cool. This is exciting. And I was plowing through, just writing. And I wasn't going back and editing. I just was writing. I just was throwing everything out there that I could and putting it down into paper or in my computer. And then I remember hitting about 100 and going, holy crap, I got a long ways to go. And that mindset that kind of set into, hey, you started something and now it's not the time to quit. We're not done. We're nowhere near done. We're not even a third of the way done. Right. And so I remember getting to a third of the way and then halfway. Right. And once I hit that halfway point, I remember thinking, okay, I'm now on the downside. I've hit the pinnacle and now I can go back down the hill and this should be the easy part, though there's more to write. But, it was continuing to come up with, the topics and then coming up with maybe examples that happened in my life or things that I saw or things that I heard or things that I'd seen. But, I wasn't short on information. That was really never a problem. But I do remember getting down to the last 100, the last 90, the last 60, right? I literally remember a countdown from when I got to 100 and then, below that. And, but just that mindset, that thinking in the beginning of, hey, I've started something. I can't stop now. I've got to keep going. And I do remember that point. I remember, like I said, that 100 day, if you will, mark.
That's an interesting point. And just to kind of pause for a second for a new author listening to a podcast like this, and you're in the process of coming up with a big idea or starting the book and getting to that point where, you realize how much more work there is to go. What kind of inspiration would you give to a new author who was kind of at that point where you were and go, look at how much I have left to do, but I'm a little bit overwhelmed maybe in the process.
Yeah, and that surely came about. I mean, being overwhelmed was something that I definitely felt once or twice. In the process of all this, in fact, about not even a year into it, I got COVID pneumonia, and I was in the hospital for 7 days. And so once I came out of that, I do this regular networking event called Lunch Club, and I meet people from all over the U.S. and sometimes the world. But I was talking to this guy I met. His sister had written a couple of books, and he was in the process of writing a book. And one of the things that he shared with me, it really encouraged me, because it was the catalyst for finishing the book. And that was, he said, somebody once told me I get up extra 30 minutes before I normally would start my day, and I devote that time to nothing but writing. And I thought, wow, what a great idea, because I am that morning person. I'm not a night person. I'm a morning person. So I started getting up at 6 every morning, or if I was doing something earlier, I had to get up at 5, right? But I made time every single day to write. And I would encourage anybody who's doing that, take an extra half an hour to an hour every day and devote that time to writing. And you're going to feel overwhelmed. You're going to feel frustrated. You're going to feel, stuck at some point. There's nothing wrong with putting it down, walking away, and coming back to it. And that's what I had to do a couple of times. I was like, I can't write today. And I just wasn't feeling anything, right? And then other days I'd sit down and write 3 or 4 entries. I'd be there for 2 hours writing. So, but yeah, for anybody that's stuck on that, I would just encourage them, just say, look at the end, keep the end in mind, right? With any kind of goal that you have, always keep the end in mind, and know that you have a purpose and you're doing this for a reason. And it's not for selfish reasons. It's because it's going to help somebody else, or it's going to mean something to someone else. And that was a motivator for me. That helped me as well.
So when you're writing the book, are you thinking of your audience, or are you thinking of your own thoughts and collecting your thoughts irrelevant of the audience and just trying to capture what's going on in your world?
So a lot of times for me, it was my audience, because I had to put myself in their shoes. And because I was writing a book that was geared towards helping people, and I'm reading similar type of books, I'm thinking, okay, how can I put this in their frame of mind, right? This is not about my story, though there were stories that I shared throughout that I think and hope will be helpful to people. But I think it was there just for perspective, right? It was just there for, here's an example of what I went through and the lessons that I learned from going through this. But I really took on the frame of mind from, I could go back and read it. And I do. I'm reading my book every day. I'm using it as one of the things that I read every morning now.
So what I like about your book and the concept of your book, you're not talking about a novel that's a one-time read and you just cram through it and you're done in a weekend and put it back on the shelf and never reference it again. Your book is meant to be something that's digested and gone over multiple times, and for a large audience as well, for personal growth. Maybe you're a leader in your business. You are a leader in your home. There's a lot of different things that your book is addressing, and your audience is quite vast. So, like I was mentioning, this is not a one-time read, right? That's not how you created this book. You want people to go through this yearly, really, and bring it off the shelf and do it again.
Yeah, and I mean, we all need help, right? We all need some sort of inspiration. We all need motivation. I think it was Zig Ziglar who said, or Brian Tracy that said, motivation doesn't last. That's why we have to do it daily, just like showering, right? We need a bath every single day. We need motivation every single day. We need that help. We need that guidance. And sometimes we can do it alone, but there's a number of times when we just need somebody to pat us on the back and say, hey, you're doing a good job. Or, hey, don't forget to look up, right? Hey, don't forget to see the sun that's shining outside, right? Step out of your house and go take a walk or do whatever, right? But we all need that little help. And yeah, the book is written intentionally for that. It's written as something that you can come back to a time and time and time again. And it shouldn't get outdated. I didn't write it with the intent to be timed. In fact, there's very few dates that are included in there for that reason. There are very few times when I say, as I'm writing this is happening. but it happens. I mean, there's a few things that are in there that, I mean, you can date it, right? 20 years, 30 years from now, somebody could pick it up and go, oh, this was written. Well, yeah, that's okay. But it's timeless in terms of its message and the things that it's providing. But it was written with that intent.
It's interesting because as a reader, you're coming to the book with your current situation in mind, your current mindset, and you're reading the words based on your lived experience at the moment, which could change next year when you have maybe a different mindset, right? So that you'd come back to the exact same chapter, reread it again, and get something completely different out of this that you would have missed the first time, right? And like I look to my left, I got a whole shelf of books over there, and
exactly,
there's books I haven't read for years, and they're just sitting there. And I bet if I pull any one of those off, I'll see new thoughts and new revelations as far as what I'm reading and absorbing, just because I'm different than the last time I read them, right? And that's the idea behind your book.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Exactly. Yeah, and that's the cool thing about it is we have these life experiences, and I even put that into the introduction where I said, basically, you can pick up this book today and it may not mean a thing to you. It may not hit, it may not resonate, it may not do anything. But then you flip to the index, there's no table of contents, there's just an index. And in the index is a list of topics. And, Dave, you got up today and you said, hey, I feel really good. And, but my wife and I, we've had a fight the last couple of days and I feel all the tension. And so you go to the back and you go, I want to read about loving or about, loving others or about, communication, or, you can look and there's 366 different topics. And there are things that you could go back and say, I want to learn, or I want to think about this today. I want to focus on this today. You can certainly do that. Or you can just read what's on the hook for today, right? What's because it's written out in terms of the dates of the year. So you've got an entry for, January 1st, you've got an entry for July 26th, right? So there are entries for each one of the days out there.
So when you wrote the book, did you have a typical person in mind that would be reading this book that you were writing towards?
There wasn't one person, no, because like you said, it really is designed for, anyone. You could be 13 to 100, right? It doesn't matter. There are people obviously further along in life that may read this and go, I have a different experience. And that may be good, or that may be, ooh, wait, I need to think about it from that perspective instead, right? So we all have things that we can learn. And this wasn't hey, I'm super smart and I know all these things. No, these were just my life experiences. And hopefully you can learn from my life experiences. Eleanor Roosevelt said, we don't have time basically to learn all the things and go through all these problems ourselves. Learn from others' experiences. And I'm paraphrasing, by the way. I'm totally paraphrasing. But that was one of the quotes it's in the book, by the way. But it is one of those things that we don't have time to learn all the experiences. And if we can learn from others, then man, what a blessing, right? What an opportunity to be able to learn from somebody else's experiences. And that's what this is. It's, in my mind, it's an offering that people can learn from my experiences or from the experiences of those around me.
So when you read through the book, does the title become clear as you read through the book? Do you kind of connect the dots as a reader what this book is all about?
Well, I give you the opportunity to know what the title is all about by the, not just the title, but the introduction. And then the very first entry is the red chair. So when you get into the book and when you open those first 2 pages, you see, here's what the book is about. And I kind of walk you through it. I say, this is what this is intended for. And if you get it, great. If you don't, that's okay. Come back tomorrow, right? And check it out from a different perspective. But then you learn very quickly what the red chair is all about. But it really is an opportunity for people to get some inspiration and motivation. And the subtitle is, it's daily inspiration for success in life and business. And so that's really what it was geared towards.
Okay. Any little sneak peek to the book that you can share an example from the book that we might be reading in one of these chapters?
A sneak peek. Oh my gosh. There's all kinds of things that I have, right? We all have things that we want to share.
Oh, I know. Just give us one little tidbit.
I know, you're killing me though. One little tidbit. I tell you what, let me do this real quick. So give me a date.
Oh, wow. Okay. My birthday, November 13th. Let's see what you got for November 13th.
November 13. All right. November 13th.
It's going to blow my mind right now.
It's entitled Be Kind. And oh, by the way, I'll be doing an audio version of this as well. That's the one thing that I've been inspired to do, and many people have asked for. So you'll get to hear this eventually at some other point. So be kind, November 13. Be kind whenever possible. It is always possible. The Dalai Lama. How is your day going? No, really, how is your day going? Did you hit your toe on the bed, or did you just wake up? Did you get a wake-up call from a family member with some devastating news? Did you get that promotion or the raise you were hoping for? I have experienced all of these and all felt very different. We just do not know what kind of day a person is having just by looking at them. Being kind costs you nothing. In fact, I find that I usually feel better when I'm simply smile at people. It makes me think of kinder and more pleasant things that are good in my life. The warm embrace of a friend, the kind words of those you love, all conjure up a smile that can be passed along. It is hard to be kind when you're struggling with anger or fear in your life. What does it take to be kind to others? Sometimes it's as simple as a smile or a kind word of encouragement. Today, I will find ways to be kind and give to others because you'll never know what kind of a day they are having.
That's a great, oh, gee, you got me, Chris. You got me.
That's really what the book is all about.
Do you love fishing? Because you just got me with that hook. You just got me with that hook. That was great. Really, really good.
Happy birthday, Dave.
So this book is going to be a great tool for people to use going forward, and I can't wait for this to be in my hands. So make sure I want to be on the list. So we talked about this. You're going to have a way for people to get on a mailing list to be in contact with you for the book, right, as the book launches. So we'll include all that information in the show notes. But did you want to just talk about the process?
Yes.
Now that the book is just getting in the final stages?
Sure. So we're in the final stages, and what we're going to be doing is it should be available within the next 30 days. I should have availability, I would imagine, the next couple of weeks that we can have pre-orders and all of that. But we should be ready to go here real soon. We're just, like I said, in the final stages of putting all that together. So if they do want to, we'll have a landing page. It's called theredchairexperience.com, and it's not totally set up yet, but as soon as we get that, you'll be able to click on that. But we'll have, I know you'll put it in the show notes, but they'll have opportunity to get to my webpage, which is coachchrisconsulting.com. And if you click on the Red Chair Experience, there's actually a page there for it that explains a little bit about what it is and all that stuff. But they'll be able to order right from the webpage.
Okay, let's just take a moment before we end off too, Chris, to talk about your business. I'm a small business owner, and I know you mentioned on your website that you're here to help small businesses. So here's a good chance to plug what you do on when you're not writing a book. Tell us about CoachChris.com. Yeah.
When I'm not writing a book. Well, thanks. So I am Coach Chris, and I use that because I like to coach salespeople and small to medium business owners. I work mostly with the home services industry. So heating and air conditioning, plumbing, electrical, those kind of things. Those are the folks that I normally work with. And I help them to develop sales processes and work with their sales team to get better at doing sales and how to overcome objections and do all those kind of things. So if you go to coachchrisconsulting.com, you can reach out. We can see if it makes sense. We can help you get a better plan for your sales and your sales team. And you can reach out to me that way. You can always text Coach Chris to the international number is 1-321-421-5213. And again, text Coach Chris to that, all one word, and you'll get my digital business card. And you can find out all my social media and all that stuff right there, which it'll have my website and everything. And you can schedule a time that we can meet.
And I think I noticed on your website too, on CoachChris.com, you have some resources there as well for people.
Yes. Yep. So go to CoachChrisConsulting.com, and we've got a resources page and all of that stuff. So yeah, there's plenty of things for us to help out with.
So the book is coming out soon, The Red Chair Experience. Everyone needs to go and buy this book. Everybody needs to have this in front of them daily. You need to find that chair, that quiet spot. And you're going to daily open this book and read and be inspired by some great life lessons, some great stories and encouragement. And it's coming from a person who has lived a very interesting life, and comes with great passion for the book and for the final product here, the Red Chair Experience. I'm looking forward to this. Like I mentioned, I want to get on the list, and I want this book not just on my shelf, but I need it in my hand, Chris. Right, because I need to use this every day, right?
Well, you will get a signed copy, I'm sure.
Oh, look at this. An autographed copy, which is wonderful. I appreciate it.
And people will have the opportunity when everything gets set up, they can get a chance. If they want an autographed copy, all they got to do is request it.
Excellent.
And we'll set that up.
That's great. So any parting words of wisdom for the audience, whether you're an author or a avid reader, what would you like to say to people as we close off, Chris?
If you are an author, or you're aspiring to be an author, keep going. Don't give up. Now's not the time to quit. If you are a reader and you think, oh man, I'd really like to write a book, start writing. Just start writing something. Start figuring something out. Start putting things down on paper or in your computer. And don't give up on that dream. If that's what you really want to do, get some help. There's plenty of people out there that can help you, inspire you, and get you going in the right direction. So don't give up. If that's the direction you want to go, then make it happen. And if you have any questions, you can always reach out to me, and I'll do my best to answer your questions.
Thank you for your time, Chris. You give us some time out of your busy day to come on and chat with us. I really appreciate it. And I hope that this podcast gives you, like we mentioned, just a sliver of people that will come and connect with you. And if it's because of this podcast, that's wonderful. I hope that's the case.
Well, we've got a whole Canadian audience. We just captured the
All
whole
of Canada's with you.
Country of Canada by doing this.
We are with you.
Thank you, Dave.
We are with you.
Thank you so much, Dave. I appreciate it.
We'll take care. So we will have all of the information again in the show notes. Make sure you go to the redchairexperience.com, coachchrisconsulting.com. This is the gentleman right here, Chris Michel, on the Living the Next Chapter podcast. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi guys, this is Dave from Living the Next Chapter, a podcast designed to connect authors and audiences. We're always on the lookout for our next interview. If you're an author, a publisher, and you have a book, whether you're just starting, whether you're halfway through writing, or it's all done and you want to tell the world, that's why we're here at Living the Next Chapter. Get in touch with us through livingthenextchapter.com, contact us, and let's set up some time together to discuss your book, to discuss your project, and how we can get you on the show. My name is Dave, and I would love to speak to you. So go to livingthenextchapter.com, and let's get over there together and discuss all the great things that you're up to as an author, as a publisher, and let's grow your audience together. Join us on livingthenextchapter.com for great authors and an audience that's eager to hear about what you're up to as an author and a publisher. Contact us today and let's get your book out in front of others. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you on the next one.